Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to My Hero Academia 212 or Boku no Hero Academia 212 Successor Continued or Successor Part 2, whatever you want to call it, Successor Continued. The reason why I didn't release this earlier was because I got ill and I'm still kind of ill, but I'm on my way to making amends with myself. But yeah, so I just got like crazy ill over like one day really, and now I'm just recovering quick time. But that's about it. So I should be on My Hero Academia now, and then my One Punch Man review should be out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But this chapter, it was another short chapter, only about 13 pages. No complaint from me. It was a good chapter which progressed the story, which is all I was looking for. And none of us were really expecting another chapter to drop before kind of like Christmas and in between New Year and things like that. So I was really like, the fact that we got a chapter was cool anyway. I didn't expect another chapter, so props to Horikoshi there for putting in the grind. And I think this was actually meant to be a January-based chapter, so we may not be getting a chapter this week, or maybe not even next week. So just be aware of that. So we start with Ochaco essentially explaining her motivation for becoming a hero or wanting to help people like Deku. And when she was younger, she could see how her parents were always tired all of the time, probably trying to make ends meet, trying to keep her healthy, trying to keep her in a household which was comfortable and things like that. However, when she saw a hero in action for the first time, I have no idea which hero it was, but we see a small panel of him, and we see how this affected the people around Ochaco. She's there viewing this in the flesh. And she realizes how happy and like full of hope and energy the people around her became at the sight of a hero. So what this made her like realize is that she wanted to help people so that she could put those smiles on their faces. And that's essentially her reason for becoming a hero. But then what we see is, after seeing Deku put all of his energy and his kind of life into everything he does, trying to save everyone who he's trying to save, and the pain he's been through trying to control his quirk, she started to wonder from that interaction who will save a hero when a hero is in need, referring to someone like Deku. So when a hero like Deku, when a hero like All Might, they're putting everything on the line, they're losing limbs and organs and shit like that, who's going to help them when they need help? So we then go back to Ochaco in the present scene, holding on to Deku for dear life and trying to get him to calm down. And once she realizes Deku is completely out of control, she calls out to our boy Shinso to brainwash Deku so that his quirk just kind of closes down. And here we get one part of the chapter I thought was a bit weird and forced, and I didn't really like. We see Deku's black energy going wild and rampant, destroying things around him, while Shinso thinks about what he could possibly ask Deku. And this is the part I didn't like, because this is in direct response to Ochaco saying, "Boy, I need your help, brainwash Deku." So he thinks about how he lost to Deku at the sports festival, how Deku was born with an ideal quirk, how he wanted to show Deku how much he'd improved and hanged his changed from his former self, and how he wanted to become a hero who could use his quirk for other people's sakes, for the betterment of the individuals around him, and possibly not even around him, for the betterment of society at large. Now that's all well and good, but then he shouts to Deku that they should fight again sometime, and then Deku responds to that going, "Yeah!" And I was like, cool, that's all well and good, but now I have a feeling some of you will say that this shows character progression for Shinso, saying he has no animosity for Deku and that he wanted to show his rival how he has changed as a person, his values, his way of thinking, and how he's honed his abilities. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but and how he wanted recognition from Deku as a worthy rival, and that's cool. I agree with you, Shinso has grown, but I don't think it was this small little scene here was a good place to show it, because it was just shoehorned in, and it wasn't really a good place to show where Shinso has grown. If Shinso should have shown it by action, not by thought, and it just felt really forced by Horikoshi, because this isn't a situation where I feel someone like Shinso would be polluting his mind with thoughts like this. If anything, the cold, calculated and logical Shinso would instantly shout Deku's name and ask him anything that he could possibly respond to, especially because Deku is aware that Shinso is trying to brainwash him in order to stop him. So it could have been anything, literally anything. He could have asked Deku, Deku, fucking brilliant weather, what are having right here, lad? And Deku would have been like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, we're having awesome weather. And Deku, I assume, would have responded any which way. He could have asked him anything. Deku, you want a coffee? Yeah. Deku, you look like ass. You want to get better dressed or something? Yeah. Deku, you have green hair. Is it black or green? I don't know. He could have asked him anything. And Deku would have responded because he was aware of the situation at hand. So then the whole, like, the smile and, like, let's fight again. And I'm just like, that's really cheesy. That's so cheesy. And I just thought it was a really cringe-worthy moment, and I didn't like how this was put in. I mean, like, yeah, I like Shinso. A lot of you like Shinso, but this wasn't really any character progression at all. It was just, I mean, like, getting his flashbacks and getting, like, his opinion on Deku and kind of how he's changed his views on Deku. That's cool, but just that scene I didn't like. There was something about it rubbed me the wrong way, and hopefully my explanation will speak for itself. Now, with this, Deku gets brainwashed and the blackness vanishes back into his right arm, and Deku then travels mentally back into the recesses of the memories of One for All, where the Hellboy looking predecessor, I mean, like, he looks like Hellboy. He's got the stubbly kind of thing going, larger at the chin. He's got the goggles. He's got the kind of squared off face. Very, very Hellboy looking. And this Hellboy looking predecessor tells either Deku or someone else that he's got it all wrong and that he's not alone. He then confirms that the time is indeed ripe and that something has manifested. You're going to love this all the way through. And that something has manifested, but that power he is using is something he can't use with idle thoughts. So I'm thinking maybe he's talking about concentration or something like that. So he then tells possibly Deku to try harder. Now, the only question I have here is, this part was hype. I'm really looking forward to it in the future to see what happens in the next couple chapters. But my question is Hellboy speaking to Deku directly, or someone behind Deku, or someone where Deku should have been? And I think he's not speaking to Deku at all. It's not like when the original One for All user addressed Deku. He's not addressing Deku per se. At least not to my not from my perception. I mean, like, the reason why I say this is because he very clearly seems to be addressing a conversation had prior to this moment, prior to this point in time. So a previous conversation, when he says something along the lines of he says something like, I told you before about concentration or something like that. Or he mentions something that, I forgot what the exact phrase is, but he says something that refers to a previous conversation. And he's had no such interaction with Deku before, so he may well be seeing the memories of One for All again. This is Deku. He may well be seeing the memories of One for All again, where a previous user was instructed by Hellboy. So we might be seeing Hellboy instructing his kind of disciple, the next user of One for All. So we might be seeing 2 One for All users rather than 1, which is hype in and of itself. So that's cool. I fully think Hellboy is actually speaking to some previous memory or another user of One for All, and he's not addressing Deku. If he is addressing Deku, that was confusing as fuck. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow when I release my One Punch Man review. So I'll see you guys in a bit.